Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in Game 2 in a series between Tarson and Ranged, Game 2 taking place on Xel'Naga Caverns. We have Tarson spawning as the yellow Terran player on the north side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Ranged spawning as the purple Protoss on the south side of the map. So Terran versus Protoss, and a very early sneaky play by Ranged already, and it looks like this may be a proxy gateway here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. We'll see if Tarson suspects this and tries to do anything about it here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. And it looks like it is not going to be a straight proxy pylon here, but instead a proxy pylon with gateway units being warped in along here. How will Tarson respond is going to be a very critical question as that pylon now warping in. I'm currently a little bit supply locked as the walking distance did take a little bit of time in order to make its way out. Back over here, Tarson most likely gonna open up with a 12 racks in just a moment. And now I know a couple of viewers out there are wondering, what is a 12 racks? What is an 8 pool, 12 pool? It's just the timing on when you build a building. So you can see that this barracks or this racks was built when the Terran player had 12 food. So that is what a 12 racks is. Very simple. A 13 refinery, which should be coming up next. There you go, 13 refinery right there, 13 food on the top right hand side of the map. Gateway now currently warping in as well. A second gateway may be added in just a moment, as we are now chrono boosting in order to try to get a stronger economy for Range. Range also being very smart to build some pylons inside his own base and being able to wall off against his opponent. It doesn't work nearly as well against a Zerg opponent, but he should be able to at least minimize the amount of damage if those units are walking in. And now in comes the probe. The probe perhaps should have tried to come in a little bit earlier and start dealing some harassment damage towards that SCV. SCV now going to make its way down the ramp, and is it going to check that far side? No, it is not going to check that far side. So a very early Zealot will be making its way out in just a moment here, and one early Zealot and without a bunker is going to cause problems and then perhaps force SCVs to come off the mineral line. You can see that the Marine is looking to make sure that there are no proxy pylons inside his base. Very smart move, but not very smart in that he doesn't realize the Zealot is already inside here. Now gonna go after that SCV. SCV is gonna get taken down. 2 hits now taken down as well as a Marine tries to engage. 2 Marines trying to fight back against the Zealot, and another Zealot going to come in and engage as well. A bunker needs to be placed down, and it is going to be straight in the mineral line. So 2 Zealots now, 1 Zealot, the one with more shields now in the front, as those Marines desperately trying to run away, and now the Zealots just running straight into that mineral line there. SCVs coming off the fight, trying to get even more damage. 1 very low hit point Marine down to 8 hit points. 1 more attack from those side blades would take it down, as another Zealot is going to be added to this army in just a second. No Cybernetics core yet. Still back over here as a 3 Zealot. Army-wise, 300 versus 150. A bunker now once again trying to be placed down, and that's going to be a problem as the tech lab is not allowing for any additional units to be trained right then and there. Hellions need to get added in very quickly, as another SCV being brought over. 3 Marines, 3 Zealots. Are we getting a Stalker yet? No Stalker just quite yet. It's going to be 400 minerals worth of Zealots in just a second, as Stalkers are now going to be able to start warping in, and now that's going to help out tremendously. So there's a new Zealot joining in the ranks, and there is going to be a bunker here, and finally a Marauder. The Marauder going to try to engage, and oh, those Zealots cannot try to take down that bunker. That's going to be a desperate mistake. SCVs would have been able to easily repair that, as the Zealots are now in full retreat. Stalkers gonna sit down here now, as both players are in their 1 base play. We have 1 gate into a robotics facility. Perhaps Immortals will be added. Immortals, a very strong counter, or is it going to be 1 base Colossus? 1 base Colossus could help out as well. You can see a Hellion now looking to deal some damage. The Hellion does not have the blue flame research, but there's nothing over here that is able to fight back against this 1 Hellion. So this 1 Hellion going to start lining up a decent amount of splash damage, as long as it's able to just keep some distance between those units. 1 probe now destroyed, 2 probes now destroyed, and continuing to rack up more and more damage already. How much damage can it do is the key question. Now already up to 4 kills. So this 1 Hellion already more than worth its weight. Tarson using this 1 Hellion very effectively, getting up to 7 kills already, and that number is just going to continue to grow. You can see more Hellions more probes. The lower hit point one's trying to run away, and now 2 probes left. Down they go, and now this hero Hellion getting 500 minerals in kills, looking to just save the day. And now Ranged is in trouble. Ranged now down to 21 probes compared to 20 SCVs and a mule. This one particular gateway and warp gate may get taken down as well. Hellions are still hiding off over here. And now that he knows that the majority of the army has returned home, I'm kind of curious as to why these units are not moving out. We are going into a reactor on the factory, a starport now being built, so that's most likely just for a double training medevacs, as the Marauders are going to jump inside this bunker and be able to do even more and more damage. The Hellions have to be very, very careful, and they can see that the Zealots are over here, and the main army is over here, so these units should be able to move down and clean up that particular set of pylon and gateways, slowing down the production even further. Stim pack being researched, Immortals now being trained, but I'm thinking that Ranged is still behind. We are sitting on 400 minerals right now, as Tarson did salvage all of his bunkers and able to get those minerals back. And now finally the Marines and the Marauders going to make the trek down, clean up this proxy gateway and proxy pylon. He needs to find it first. Coming off over here, finally sees it, and now is going to finish off this pylon very, very easily before any reinforcements can come in. Observer does see that there is a lot of barracks down. There are medevacs currently being trained. We'll see if we're going to see a robotics bay. No, a Twilight Council. So perhaps Zealot Charge will be added instead. Gateway and warp gate now taken down as well. So right now, Range running off of 2 gateways with a robotics facility and a Twilight Council. He does have a decent amount of minerals that he's sitting on, as he's unable to spend that much of his resources at this time. Range does also have a proxy pylon over here. Gonna quickly reveal a Hellion trying to come into play, and that Hellion gonna run straight into a group of other units, doesn't want to engage, and just is going to back off, but knows that there isn't an expansion. Tarson now just being very, very careful, and now looking to do a drop. So it is going to be a Marauder drop with stim and concussive shells. He can get a lot of damage in very, very easily, especially if he drops in along this backside. There are some Marines and Marauders here, a Viking in the air, just in case his opponent tries to go for Colossus. And where are those medevacs? One medevac here, one medevac here. So this is going to be a 2-pronged drop. I believe it may have been revealed by Ranged over here, as the Marauders may just try to drop into this location and take down this pylon. If it's able to take down this pylon, perhaps it can pull away some units from over here, but there are also already Immortals and Zealots ready to shut down these particular Marauders. Those Marauders desperately need to run away, but now the Marauders are stimming over here, going to be able to take down some of those units. There is also an Immortal here, and those units need to jump into the medevac. This medevac harassment not nearly as effective as Tarson would have liked to see, but at least the medevac was not shot down. Another drop happening over here. Ranged already in response, trying to get those units over. This pylon is going to get destroyed, picked up once again, and then pulled away, as Dark Templars now being warped in. Wow, that is a complete blindside. Tarson does have a missile turret currently being built, but is it going to be built in time? There it is, the scanner sweep revealing the Dark Templars, and the concussive shell shutting it down, able to destroy, and that was huge. Being able to see the slight distortion on the cloak from those Dark Templars, shutting down 2 Dark Templars in transition, and now having a missile turret as additional detection. At some point, I would like to see the medevac, the reactor be swapped for the tech lab, and then start training some Ravens in just a mere moment, as Range now getting some Immortals, Zealots, and Stalkers, also trying to establish his natural expansion. Now, both players at this time are about pretty even. You can take a look at the Harvester count, 31 to 37. Mules could be dropping in. Tarson purposely saving a lot of his energy for scanner sweeps instead of using mules, but he could get a very large influx of minerals if it was called for. There is not enough energy over here. You should really try to split up your energy, but that is beyond the point, as that probe is going to get destroyed here. One pylon in position. Zealots, Immortals, Stalkers hanging out over here, making sure that nothing was built over here. Perhaps wants to warp in another pylon as a SCV going to scout out a proxy pylon that was placed down here. A Dark Templar now on the move, but there is already a missile turret, so that is not going to work out very well at all. Gonna get one kill on an SCV before it gets destroyed. Down it goes. A pylon now gonna get cleaned up by one Marauder as well, as ranged is losing more and more. You can take a look at the total resources lost, 400 versus 2100. Army-wise, 2950 versus 2250, so Tarson does have the advantage at this stage, as the medevac just simply flying around once again. This ranged could have seen this, and now Tarson going to clean up this pylon and this probe once again. Not looking good at all, as range is now just getting limited vision slowly time after time. We are getting units waiting over here just in case another drop is taking place. Supply depots, Tarson is currently supply locked, needs to be able to train up more units. I believe he is now going into even more racks play, so we're going to see more Marauders, more Marines, and now adding that Raven that I was talking about by building on that tech lab. So a lot of Marines just going to be funneled out, and we are also going into the Mobius reactor, so EMP Shockwave coming in the near future. One Viking just flying around. That Viking slower than those Stalkers. Those are some very, very effective legs on those Stalkers, able to catch up to the thrust of an air unit, as an SCV is also now on the ground. So units just wandering around back and forth over here. Zealots, Sentries, Immortals, and Stalkers hanging around. Excuse me, yeah. These units just all hanging around over here as a factory now lifted off in order to do some additional scouting. SCV just continuing to repair. Now, overall strategy and overall state of the game, Tarson has to feel very, very confident. He's been able to block and slow down a lot of ranges harassment. He's come out on top considerably in every engagement that we've fought in so far, but he is not ahead. He is not currently ahead by very much. The game could go either way very easily, and that is why Tarson doesn't want to engage. He doesn't want to overplay his hand, as he just wants to keep ranged in check. He doesn't want to do an all-in attack. He doesn't want to really commit his army at this stage. Ranged, on the other hand, because of a failed attack after failed attack, he doesn't want to move out until he's fairly confident that he can come out on top. The addition of Colossi will help him out, and 4 of them is going to be a very, very strong number. I'm not sure if Tarson has enough Vikings to counter it. He is currently getting 2 additional Vikings, as he also has 1 Raven in the air just in case there are Dark Templar, and SCV going to quickly get killed by those Colossus. And now Tarson is in trouble once again. Scanner Sweep revealing that, but he did get some good EMP shockwaves off, dealing a lot of damage towards the shields of the ranges units. Marines and Marauders are fighting back. No point defense drone, not enough energy just quite yet, as the Marauders are attempting to focus down the Colossus, and it looks as though the Colossi was the only saving grace in this attack so far, but the stim pack allowing those Marauders to catch up, and now simply destroying those Colossus, and they are now all taken down. So very, very well played by Tarson, just constantly being able to keep track of his opponent. And really, Tarson, the one reason that why Tarson was able to win out on that final battle was that EMP shockwave. I'll go ahead and rewind it back to that point, as that was a very, very clutch EMP shockwave. I must say, if I've ever seen clutch EMP shockwaves in the past. So in this engagement here, you're going to see the army-wise 4,400 versus 3,715-25. There are Immortals. The Zealots are currently researching charge. A 4th Colossus going to be added to this group. The Dark Templar, the Scanner Sweep's not revealing any of those Colossi just quite yet. The Marines and Marauders are upgraded 1-0, so that is also going to help them out. Let me clear this out a little bit more, and so you can see what happens in this battle. There are 3 ghosts in this engagement, and now you can see how much energy all of these units have. The ghost going to Scanner Sweep, reveal, EMP Shockwave, dealing just a large amount of damage right there. So let's gonna try to pause it at just the right moment, and more as a tutorial for Terran players who do not use Ghost that effectively. So you can see 1 EMP shockwave, 2 EMP shockwaves, and just look at how much damage essentially was done. 80 damage across multiple Stalkers, and 50 damage across multiple Zealots, the Immortals taking 100 damage, and even some of the Colossi losing 100 shields as well. Because of that engagement, you're going to see the battle it out over here. The Zealots now trying to charge in, and they're going to get melted by those Marines and Marauders much more easily. The one Raven in the air, but the Colossus just trying to focus down the rest of those Marauders. Those Colossus were using that stutter step ability, trying to get away, trying to finish off those Marauders, but there were just too many Marauders to deal with just because he was able to keep his units alive. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Tarson and Ranged here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.